Alright guys, David at Humble Trekker channel, how you all doing out there? Today, some real cheap fun. I'm going to be going on a chaga hunt, and if that don't work out, I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for fatwood. What's chaga? Chaga is known as the gold of the woods. It's a medicinal fungus that grows on the birch tree. It's also very good for making fires. Sustains a ember and can be used in friction fire. But not when it's damp, which it normally always is when you pick it off a tree fresh. So I'm looking for birch trees. I see a grove over there. I'm going to make my way over there, have a good look. Looking for chaga is very simple. You find a birch tree, you look at it, and if you see it, you found chaga. I've got my collecting bag, axe, saw, a couple of knives. Let's get to work. Chaga grows on birch trees, and because chaga is a slow growing fungus, you're more likely to find it on an older birch tree than a newer, but actually even younger birch trees can have it growing on it. So there's no real rhyme or reason there, but you're more likely to get it on older birch trees. And another little tip is, you want to look out for gnarly looking, bent over, like damaged, almost rotten looking birch trees. I've just my experience that they tend to often contain the chaga a lot more times than just a straight up and down healthy looking birch tree. So I've got a few behind me. Simple procedure, you just get out in the woods, look at the birch trees. If you see a big black gnarly thing on it, it's probably a chaga. So the best chaga, the medicinal chaga, I've been led to believe, I'm not a doctor, so the medicinal properties of chaga you have to do your own research on, but apparently it's very good for diabetes, general well-being, asthma and stuff like that, chronic diseases. There's some active ingredient in chaga which can really improve your health. This is a very early stage chaga. This is how it all begins. It's not harvestable. In, I guess, several years this will be harvestable. It's recognised by what I like to call this tobacco staining. It's like a heavy smoker's fingers. You get this brown tobacco type staining down the tree, and actually the start of the chaga is a soft, flaky, you see this blackish brownish crust which starts to form, and it often forms on a wound on the tree. So you see this small branch has broken off sometime in the past, which has created a small wound, which has enabled the chaga spores to enter the birch tree and then start to grow. So eventually this will become a harvestable chaga. Just at the moment this is an early stage chaga, which I think is interesting to show, so you can see, to be able to recognise it if you're not already familiar with this. The telltale tobacco staining, the flaky, brownish, irregular surface, often focused on a wound in the tree. Here we got an old granddaddy birch, and about halfway up at the top of the frame is a chaga. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 pound chaga out there. Too high for me to get. So we've seen a baby chaga, we've seen a granddaddy chaga on a granddaddy birch tree. Got to keep looking. I did find a small example of a chaga that was harvestable soon after seeing this large chaga on this old tree. It was a much smaller example, but it was harvestable. Got so excited I forgot to turn the mic on. Here's another angle of it, and you can see how it sticks out. It's very narrow actually, this one. They come in all different shapes. So you can see it's like a narrow, sticks out like a fin from the tree. So you've got the black crusty bit. I'll just bring the camera around here and you can see how it is very orange on this side. Here's the back side of it from where we started off, and you can see the orange of the inner layer contrasting with the black crusty outer layer. Now we're going to cut it off. Cutting it off doesn't damage the tree in any way whatsoever. You just want to get your knife or small axe, get as close to the bark of the tree as you can, get it under it, and it comes off. Simple as that. So here we go with the gold of the woods. You see, this is the bit that was attached to the tree, and this is like orange. This is quite spongy, and when you get them off the tree, they're full of water. So this is probably weighs a couple of 100 grams just now, but when this dries out, it will be much lighter. So you can see this is like a corky, spongy type inner bit, and this inner part, this is the part that's best for your fire making. It's this outer part, this black crusty layer. So you can see the division goes just about there. This is what you'd call your inner orangey part, and this is your black crusty part. The black crusty part is the most medicinal part. This is the best bit for making the tea, getting the goodness out of it. You can actually use all of it for making the tea. But this crusty bit out here is not good for starting fires with. You want the spongy orangey bit for making your fires. Alright, I'm going to keep looking. Normally when you find one, you find another one quite quickly. I've been searching for a good couple of hours, and I was just about to give up when I saw this tree stump. I looked down, underneath the bracken was this large chaga, or medium size should we say. I don't want to big it up too much. And there, it was great. I had really given up hope for the day, and then I found this really good sized chaga, which made the whole day worthwhile. Now with these larger ones, you can try and get them off the knife, and you can, but it's a pretty tough job getting off a big one like this with a knife. So really you want to go to your axe, and what I find is if you give it a brisk chop from the top, then it comes very loose and it just falls off, and then you're good to go. It just falls off like that after a couple of blasts with the axe. And there you can see this one is a really golden orangey chaga on the inside, and you see the outside you've got this like lava-like, dried lava-like crustation with the black stuff, and it's the black stuff which is actually the good stuff, the medical stuff, and it's the orangey spongy part I'm looking at here. This spongy part, this is what's good for starting fires with, and this is like corky, and in this state when you first pull it off the tree, it's got a lot of moisture in it. You can't use it for fire starting, and if you wait a second, the camera will actually focus and you'll be able to see it here, the gold of this. Here's the total harvest. That's the big piece off the tree stump, and that's the smaller piece I got off the standing tree. The little tip is when this dries, at the moment it's full of moisture, so it's heavy, you can feel the dampness in it. This dries out, and when it dries out it's obviously much lighter, and you can use it for the fire starting methodologies. But when it does dry, it becomes hard as a stone and very difficult to cut up. You basically just have to crush it up once it's dried. So if you want it in smaller chunks than this, what you want to do is when it's still fresh is to cut it up, and then it's actually quite easy to cut up. I'm going to cut this one down, so I've got the good tea making bit on that side and the fire making bit on that side, and actually I think I'll cut that down one more time. So that's just personal preference. If you want big chunks or small chunks, best to cut it up when it's fresh, and it's easy to cut up then. Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of the labour. I'll get some water on boiling and we'll make some chaga tea. So this is just straight up water. So I just take a few chunks of chaga. I've already put some in. This is just an extra bit. I didn't film it. You just put it in and you just let it boil up. Chaga isn't that common. If you look it up on Wikipedia and things like that, it says it's, I can't remember, but it's, I've seen a few different things written down. I don't know which one's accurate, but it says chaga grows on 1 in 5,000 birch trees. I think even I've read 1 in 15,000. I think that must mean all the birch trees in the entire planet, because chaga only grows at a certain northern latitude. So if you're too far south, you won't find it. But at least in my area of Sweden, in the Stockholm region of Sweden, I'm guessing maybe I find it on 1 in every 50 trees, 1 in every 75, 1 in every 100. I mean, honestly, I've never actually counted how many trees I've looked at. So I'm just giving a ballpark number, but it's definitely not the thousands. I was out to collect this chaga and I found that one fairly decent sized chaga and that smaller petite chaga, and well, I didn't have my watch on, I wasn't looking at the time. I think I was out for a couple of hours, maybe I looked at 50, 100 trees. So there you go. Your mileage may vary, as they say. I've adjusted my whatever it's called thing that I've got my pot hanging on. I cut the end off to make it easier to get off and on while I was off camera, and lowered the pot to help it boil. It's still boiling. I'm going to let it boil for a good long time. Let all the juices, all the goodness come out of that chaga, and then I'm going to decant it off, because you know, you don't want all the bits, you don't want to be drinking the bits, you just want to be drinking the juice. So then you can decant it off carefully into a cup and then just drink it like regular tea. Here it is then, guys. Let me just top it up a little bit. So you just get a brownish, you won't be able to see it in this brown cup, it turns out like a light brownish tea. That's all it is. And what does it taste of? Let me see if I can describe the taste of the chaga. It's kind of got like a vanilla-y taste. It's not doesn't taste bad at all. It doesn't taste strong. For me, it hasn't got a strong taste. Yeah, it's got like a vanilla-y, outdoorsy, not an earthy taste. Sweet vanilla, subtly sweet vanilla taste. Right guys, thanks for joining me on this little chaga hunt and chaga tea brew up. Hope you found it enjoyable. It was a good few hours out there walking around. I thought it was going to be not so successful. I thought I was just going to end up that little one. Then just right at the last minute then, when I was actually giving up, I found that big one on that tree stump, which made it worthwhile. Thanks for watching. Take care out there, and I'll see you next time.